this is Dash from Bloom Where You're Planted, and we're in the fall garden. It's October 2nd, I think. So what we're doing is taking out these fall crops. This was watermelon. I really wanted to show you today is how I fertilize my fall garden. I fertilize in spring. Well, basically whenever I'm harvesting everything out of the bed, I need to replenish it. Can you believe that grew up by accident? When you knit a saw in your garden, you know you've gone to a whole new level of gardening. So I need to saw that off and clean that up. Get it out of here. Oh, hate to see that go. Whoa! Hate to see those flowers go, but it's time. They're fading. Time for a bouquet. Wow, it's just huge. All right, I'll finish cleaning up those sunflowers later. I loved them, and the neighborhood really loved them. I've had several comments from people who really appreciated them, and I appreciate them just growing my seed there. That was awesome. So what I do is I fill up bins from my compost in back, and it's time to replenish this bed, so I'll just dump it in and rake it out. Come see how I create soil for my front yard garden. So this is the advantage of having chickens, is they make soil for you. All the waste from the front yard garden, like this pile, goes into the chicken yard. And in the beginning of the season, well, every fall, we fill it up with leaves. I mean, it's knee-high in leaves. And where have all those leaves gone? They've turned into soil. So then I rake up the yard, rake up all this amazing soil that they've made, and shovel it up, put it in bins, and it's going to go into the front yard garden. So that's how my chickens make soil for me. You might be saying to yourself, well, Dash, I'm not allowed to have chickens. I can't have chickens in my neighborhood. How then do I get fertilizer? Well, I have a rabbit. This is wonderful fertilizer, these rabbit pellets. It just keeps producing, and it, unlike chicken manure, it can go right on the garden. You don't have to compost it. I can just take it out there and put it right on my vegetable garden, right around my plants. So consider that for fertilizing the fall garden. Now you might be saying to me, how can I fertilize my fall garden? I don't have chickens, I don't have rabbits. Well, okay, neither did I when I first started out. That's why I got chickens though, so I could have a great fertilizer for my garden. That's the whole reason I started with them. But if you don't have either, don't let that stop you. There are a lot of horse ranches. No! Well good, the heroes got on their way, so it's quieter now. So where was I? So there are a lot of horse ranches in the area. So I looked on Craigslist, and sure enough, there was somebody advertising, come and get my horse poop. I have a big pile of it outside my barn that I don't know what to do with. So I go to her periodically, and I used to go to her and pick up some compost and manure. So that's what we have here. We're at the community garden, and that's what we have here. But composted, the wood shavings that come out, and also the poop that goes with the horses. Now you do have to be a little bit careful of killer compost. There are some herbicides, unfortunately, that are so strong nowadays that they go right through the animal and they still affect broadleaf plants in your garden bed. So it's kind of a scary thing, and it's a real thing. So I did an article about that. So I'll put a link down at the bottom to that article, so to let you know about that. But if you don't have any other options, this is a great one. Contact a horse ranch. See if you can fill up your pickup truck full of horse ranch and spread this all over your fall garden. All right. putting the horse manure, sawdust shavings that we got onto our broccoli and cauliflower plants. Now I've taken a risk here because we have a lot of rabbits in our neighborhood. And they might come and eat these baby broccoli and cauliflower. So what I think I'm going to do is go get some bird netting today and put over it until they get bigger. Once they get bigger, they don't bother them. I guess they don't taste so good as when they're tender and sweet. So this will help keep the moisture in and get them going. If you want to start a fall garden, now's the time to buy little plants of cool season plants like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale. And get them planted for a good fall harvest. Should I hold it? This was our sweet potato pit, but now we have turned it into broccoli and cauliflower. But see how much earth has gone down, man. Earth, it used to be filled to the top. Cover, I mean full, but it has gone down a lot. That's what earth does.
Earth goes down.
Yep. So I'll harvest this broccoli and cauliflower, hopefully get a good harvest. And then I will put onions in here in January. The rabbits won't get those. I'm starting to feel like one of my biggest enemies on the urban homestead, or a particular problem for the urban homestead, is the amount of space I have to maneuver. Sometimes it's hard to move all the... Look, I've got it! That should make it easier. We designed it so it would do that, but... Oh. I think I'm starting to realize that one of the huge obstacles to an urban homesteader is the size of your gate. What can you get through here? Think about it. Sometimes you can't even get a wheelbarrow through your gate. Today, I'm hauling a load from the backyard into my front yard garden. And of course, if I had a farm, I would have my garden right near my compost or right near my chickens, so that this would be an easier process. But as an urban farmer, you don't have room to do that. You can't have your chickens in your front yard. So for that reason, we have to work things a little bit differently to be successful on the urban farm. I want to show you exactly how I do things, how I manage my front yard garden. Because it can be a little, I want you to learn from the mistakes that I made. So I made a back gate. I have one gate around the side that I come through most of the time. I made a back gate. It's not really a gate, it's just a section. I made this fence out of free pallets. So I'll put a link on a video how to do that. But so this was just a long pallet once upon a time. Now it looks like a picket fence. So I just move the section back when I'm done and just move it away. Eventually I want to make it into a gate, but that's one of the homestead projects on the list. So meanwhile, we need this chicken wire all around the fence. You really can't see it, but it's all the way around. It goes up to this middle and it's stapled on the middle part. So this is to keep rabbits out, because we have a huge rabbit population in our neighborhood and they eat everything. So I put some bricks on the bottom. The chicken wire is buried all the way around the fence line so that things can't dig under, except for this part. And I just take it back, roll it up like that, and then I can get my cart in. So when you're designing your garden, leave yourself room to maneuver. You're gonna need to get a wheelbarrow. This is what I have come up with. Seems like it's easier for me, and I'll show you why. I think think the garden cart is easier for me than a wheelbarrow because I can do this. The side comes down and I can just scoot this off and dump it. Seems like easier. That's the way I manage things in my front yard garden. And this fits really easily between the spaces. So this one comes down too. So I would say this is my invaluable tool. To work smarter and not harder. This is great soil that my chickens have made for me. Gonna grow me a lot of good food. Look at that rich soil. Is that beautiful? One thing I do for the fall garden is you need to fertilize. So I use a couple of things. One of the things I use is mealworm frass. So I raise mealworms for my chickens. They love them. It really helps. It's a very inexpensive protein source because they just keep making while you're sleeping. So I'm just cleaning it out, or sifting the frass out. And the frass is basically their waste, and it is wonderful for the garden. Lots of phosphorus, lots of nitrogen. Definitely don't want to breathe this in, but I raise the mealworms in my house. Kind of a windy day, so much blowing away, huh? My fertilizer is blowing away. So I'm just gonna let the frass fall through. Yeah, it's windy. I guess do this on a still day.
You did this at a bad time.
It might be more the just the skin that's blowing away though, and not the frass part. So that's good. Anyway, you let it fall through there, and then when you're done, you have fertilizer you can sprinkle in the beds. As I empty my beds of my summer produce and get ready to plant my fall crops, my winter crops, I'll use this as my fertilizer. It's great fertilizer. So it's a win-win. When you're done sifting out your frass, which is wonderful stuff for your garden, wonderful fertilizer, you need to take some wheat bran. I got mine at the feed store. And just pour it in. This is their bedding and what they're going to eat.
They just eat that? Really?
Yep. Crawl around in it and they eat it. So you just put your worms back in there. I should save some out for my chickens. Let me get a container. I want all my beetles because they can lay eggs. I usually put a little bit more wheat bran in there, but I need to go to the feed store, so that's all I have right now. But I will get some more when I go this week. Pour in there on top of it all. And then this is what they need for moisture. It's just an old rotten butternut squash. Put that down. A couple of those. And some old zucchini. All right, go get their moisture for them. I just ripped the bag and put it in there too. They like to hide in it and eat it. And then this is what we're left with. Brass for your garden. So I'll put this in a Ziploc bag, and I will put a couple of cups per bed.
So that's basically worm poop.
It is, it's worm poop. and it's really good for your garden. Phosphorus is what makes our gardens, our tomato plants bloom. It's what makes our things bloom. So it's a great nutrient, and has other nitrogen, calcium.
Eli, go wash your hands.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Back on top of the dryer with these guys. One of the fertilizers I use in my garden is mealworm frass. And I showed you how I cleaned out my mealworm bin. Ooh, I'm gonna go away. So I just sprinkle it out of my garden and around each plant. Sometimes I put it in the planting holes. And this is full of great stuff. Great fertilizer for the garden. So if you raise mealworms for your chickens, they love it, they're getting nutrition, and then your garden is getting nutrition. It's a win-win. Fertilize the summer garden, we can't forget cleaning out the chicken coop. This is my coop, and I just have wood shavings that mixes with the chicken poop, and this is how I clean it out. Now chicken poop is pretty hot, probably mixed with all this carbon, it wouldn't be bad, but I compost my chicken manure anyway, just to be safe before putting it on the garden. So I'll compost it with some leaves this fall. But this is another wonderful fertilizer for the fall garden. Next week, for those of you that are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I hear that it's gonna get cool. So it's a perfect time for those root crops to germinate. They need cool temperatures to germinate. So your beets, your carrots, lettuce, kale, Swiss chard, you could do by seed and get them germinated and up and running. Also time to plant your garlic. So get your garlic bulbs and put them in mid-October. Let's see, and if, of course, if you want to go to the nursery and buy broccoli, cauliflower, small plants like that, those can go in. Happy gardening and happy homesteading.